Hi there. Happy Wednesday. I'm Christine Kidder, your career coach, helping you have work that works for you. And I'm really excited to be doing this new thing by interviewing experts, having conversations, lively discussions. I'm in the Chicago area, so if you're watching right now, please give me your likes, comments, questions. Let me know where you're at. Our topic is vacation. One of my favorite topics. Yes, I'm a career coach that wants you to take vacations because that's how you're going to be great in your career. That's how you're going to enjoy it. And I think I have an echo, but oh well, I'll have to fix that. Okay, so anyway, I have the host of the Mousekemoms Podcast with me today, and they're going to give us up-to-date current information on vacations, like what's going on, what's the state of everything, because we've all had to deal with the pandemic. There always seems to be a new variant coming, so it's like how can we live our lives, how can we still have vacations, how can we still have family time? So yeah, that's really important. We need to talk about it and still live our lives. So I want to welcome Jennifer, Juliana, and Lori here on the podcast. So thank you so much for being here. And
Thanks
again,
yes.
And if you are watching this, please again put in the comments where you're watching it from right now, and then give us a like if you like vacations.
So that should be an easy one.
Lots of likes on that one.
So anyway, all right, great. So let's just jump right in. Tell me, when was the last vacation you went on? And whoever wants to go first is fine, but give us the details. How was it? I mean, and how can we have that vacation that we really want to have?
We've had a heck of an October with travel, all three of us, actually.
And November.
And November.
Yeah.
And August. And we've done a lot of traveling. I mean, it's the nature of what we do. We host this podcast all about Disney, and we own a travel agency. So it is our job to get out there and travel. And it's kind of been very enlightening. There have been some destinations that, to be perfectly honest, we were nervous about doing in this kind of, I don't even know if we can call it a post-pandemic world, because we're still in it. But it's been really helpful. A great example of that is Juliana and I had the opportunity to go cruise on the Disney Cruise Line in October. Was that October? End of September.
I would say September.
We were really nervous about going. It was kind of the last travel destination that we thought that we would take. And we knew it would be good for business to kind of be able to literally highlight and showcase what the cruise industry was doing to make us feel safe. We were very nervous, and we went, and
we mustered the courage to take one for the team.
Well said. And there's no other way to say it. We felt so great about it that I returned with my family a couple of weeks later, and Lori went on a cruise with her husband a couple of weeks later. And I was so glad that we did it. And it just proved to us that, the travel industry in general, the cruising industry, everybody is taking this seriously and taking measures, leaps and bounds of what they need to be doing to make sure that everybody stays safe, feels safe, travels safely, so that we can kind of get back to normal with making these vacation plans we did pre-pandemic. And that's really important. And it's definitely, like we've seen throughout this whole, 20 months now that we've been in this COVID world. There are definitely waves and ebbs and flows of people feeling comfortable and not feeling comfortable, booking and not booking.
Yeah.
But right now we're in a flow period. I think since the kids 5 to 11-year-olds were able to be vaccinated now, we've seen an increase in families feeling more comfortable to book their vacations. So that's been good.
That's really good. That's great. Yeah, it's wonderful to hear that. And especially because I remember when it seems like so long ago when the pandemic started, I mean, to hear the good news about cruises too, because, I think that was impacted so much. And that's a great way to take a vacation if you like that, It's wonderful.
I mean, the great thing about that is that it's self-contained, which was the thing that I think Anna nervous about. You're stuck in this vessel. And, when the pandemic first hit, we were hearing horror stories about cruise ships being turned around and things, happening on these ships. And we were nervous. But when you flip that around and see what they're doing, 100% of the staff and employees have to be vaccinated. And now, with Disney Cruise Line in particular, starting January 13th on that sailing, everybody ages 5 and up must be fully vaccinated to board the ship. Even with vaccinations, 100% of passengers boarding that ship need a rapid test before they board, before they're allowed to even get on the ship. Masks are required. They increased their, health and safety measures. There are hand sanitizing places all over the place before you can even enter a restaurant. Capacity is much lower, which is great for making you feel safe, but it's also great for making you feel like you're taking this exclusive private vacation on, so there are a lot of misconceptions still. And I think the key is that you need to find somebody to work with, a travel agent to work with who really knows their stuff because they've experienced it. They've gone on cruises. They've visited all-inclusive destinations. They visited the theme parks. They know from experience what to advise you about, because things do change with all of these ebbs and flows. Things change constantly. So it's important to find somebody you trust who you can work with to book that for you and advise you.
Yeah. And I love taking vacations, but what I hate about them is the planning.
Yeah. So Jen was saying you need to find someone you can work with. I think you need to find someone who will help you find the vacation that suits your needs, right? And help you, and plan it for you if that's your thing, or if you are the type of person who wants something all inclusive and everything weighted on hand and foot, then you need a travel agent who will find that for you. And so for some people, maybe a cruise still might not be right, even though we fully feel like it's great. That might not be for you, but there's other options, and there's other things to do and other places to go. And there's all-inclusive vacations, and there are relaxing vacations. And it just depends on what you need right now. And people are taking these vacations again. They really are. And we all need them, don't we?
Yeah, that's great to hear, because, my background is human resources, and it was always in working for the employers that I worked for. I was like, okay, we need people to take their vacation. So many people aren't doing it. And an employer wants, a good employer, wants their employees to take vacation because they don't want them to be burnt out. Right. With the pandemic, I know I keep on bringing it up, but it's our current situation. I mean, mental health has been a huge, huge issue. Employers are trying to see what they can do. Good employers are trying to do what they can see, what they can do to help their employees and to support them in getting through the challenges, because we're all in this together. And in vacation time, taking vacation is a way to help with your mental health. I mean, we're human beings. We're not machines. We can't constantly just keep on working without a break.
It's really kind of interesting because, I talked about those ebbs and flows and booking the vacations, but even even in times where people were nervous about traveling, they were still booking vacations because there's something that happens to you psychologically when you have something on the calendar to look forward to. And we've seen from a lot of our vendors and suppliers that their cancellation policies and refund policies and change fees, everything is so lax right now, so that financially there really is no risk for getting something on a calendar and getting something on the books and planning something, even if
Don't
No.
sorry.
Even if the world gets better.
Even if the world gets better, then you have a vacation to look forward to go on to celebrate that.
Right.
Yes.
And so what Christine was saying, I think that we're seeing a big shift in employers and in the mentality of the American workforce. For a very long time, it was work, 1 million hours a day. And that's what everybody wanted from you. And if you weren't giving it your all 100% of the time, you weren't giving it anything. And generations change. And I do think, and of course, the pandemic forced us all to be at home and to work from home. So the whole idea of how the American workforce works is changing. And along with that, I think that the mentality of all work and no play is changing. I think that all of our being cooped up for so long has made people realize some of the more important things. And of course, to my mind, travel's right up there. I was lucky enough during most of the pandemic to be living abroad where people take their vacations very, very seriously in Europe. They take them very seriously. And there were several vacations canceled. But whenever anything opened up, the city of Paris just emptied out because that is a priority. When we have freedom to go places and the time, we go and we explore and we do things. And it was a great lesson for me. I love this trend that I'm seeing now where vacations are so important to people.
Yeah, they are. And I came across these statistics the other day and I was sharing them last night with some other women. But so to kind of do a recap of what's happened, what we've been through. So in the late summer, so really just like 2-3 months ago, the U.S. Department of Labor reported that 4.3 million U.S. workers voluntarily quit their job. Okay. Yeah. This was the highest rate of employee resignations since data was first collected in December 2000. Okay. And then this is just something good to know too. According to a Fortune Analytics survey, 73% of CEOs think that a labor skills shortage will be the number one external factor to disrupt business over the next year. So, and when they asked people why they left, one of the biggest reasons was burnout. And if an employer wants to keep their employees, their talent, then their talent needs a vacation, and you have to support that. You have to. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No. And as an employee, that's your right. Take your time. You've earned it. Take it. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, I was going to say, even for people that, question taking time, I know, I have family members that are very much still in the mentality of you must work 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And, you can see it. Not only are the employers seeing burnout, they're also seeing it in their employees when it comes to their mentality, when it comes to everything. And, you can see a difference in people when they go on vacation and they come back. People, you have the vacation glow. You've just been relaxed. You've just been this, and then you're re-energized and creative.
Right. Even with that, like 4 times the amount of work that you left that just piled up for you while you were gone, you're still like, I got this.
Yes.
It's gotten so much worse this year because so many people are working virtually, remotely from home. And so, your home used to be like your space where you left the work at the office and you came home. And I mean, the 3 of us work from home, and my office door is open, and it's so hard for me to walk past it and not make a beeline for my office, knowing that I have things on my desk that need to be taken care of. So I think now more than ever, it's so important to take the time that is due to you. People have this misconception that travel is not happening yet. Travel is happening, and not just in the United States. I just had clients come back from France. I mean, the world is open. And I think as long as you're smart about it, and as long as you are planning ahead, and it can be great still. And it's not quite back to normal like pre-COVID times, but it's pretty darn close. And it's still,
a new normal.
It's a new normal, and it's good. It's a good normal.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's, I don't know if we're ever gonna go back to what it was before, but I think that, things are a little bit more complicated when it comes to travel, when it comes to cruises, international travel, anything like that. But at the same point in our business, that has kind of helped because you actually do want somebody in your corner. I've had so many people ask, well, why should I have a travel agent? I can just do this myself. Well, now you need one.
I have 2 words, March 2020.
Yes.
That's why when it hits the fan, you need someone, right,
Yes.
Lori?
Yes. You need someone that'll sit on hold for hours on end. And you need someone to do the research to find out what like Costa Rica is right now. What do I have to do? How do I have to get tested? Where do I get tested? What tests are approved?
Or Peru.
Correct. Or Peru right now. So people are traveling. It's different now. It's not what you're used to. So having that person help you, I think is 100% worth it at this point.
And everything's changing.
Yes.
Constantly changing.
Yeah, to keep up with the changes.
Yeah. Someone just asked, I want to go somewhere tropical, but I don't want to have a COVID test to come home. Where should I go? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think on that. I'll get you a list. I mean, these are the things that you need someone who knows. That could take someone a while to figure out, but we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like too, COVID is also, it's taught me, I'm taking different vacations than what I normally would have taken. I think we were before COVID going on a certain type of vacation, and then COVID hit. We had to kind of adjust things. I rented an RV, which I never thought I'd do in my entire life. But we did that. And we found that our kids really loved outdoorsy adventure trips. So this fall we went to Arizona and we did hiking in that. That's not something before COVID that I knew that our family would enjoy. But being forced to kind of stay in the United States at the time and travel closer, we figured that part out. So I think, changing what type your vacation to has happened too, which is awesome. Variety is good.
I agree.
Variety
with
is
Lori
really good.
100%. Yeah. Lori hit the nail on the head with that one. It really did change some of our vacationing and forced us to discover stuff that we would never have discovered otherwise. It's a huge COVID silver lining. And there are so many. And if you are that person who is not comfortable leaving the country, we have discovered some really fantastic options right here in this beautiful country of ours. Like truly, can't wait to explore more of America. So
yes.
Thanks,
and
COVID.
It's important too to, we talked about finding a trustworthy travel agent, but also there are brands that are really trustworthy and that, have a great reputation. And, with our podcast, obviously we're very Disney centric. We're very Disney focused. And what a lot of people don't realize is that Disney is more than just theme parks. And when you think of the Disney name, you can't help but think about their attention to detail and their fierce, how they guard their product name so fiercely. And so everything that they put out there is trustworthy and wonderful quality. And what a lot of people don't realize is that it's more than just theme parks. Disney actually has a beautiful resort in Hawaii. They have an amazing resort in Hilton Head. They have an amazing resort in Vero Beach. And they offer also a product called Adventures by Disney, which is small group travel abroad as well as in the United States. So if you've always wanted to, visit a dude ranch with your family and go, fishing in Wyoming and mountain climbing in Colorado. They have all of these things available, and it's tied to this Disney name, which, that's a name that, you can trust their product. They've done their research. They don't contract out to people who are sketchy, for lack of a better word. And so, again, like Lori and Juliana were saying, like this opportunity to kind of think outside the box and take these vacations with this time that's coming to you, that's due to you.
That you deserve and need.
Exactly. And do things that you might like. Who would have ever thought that Disney makes this other thing that's not a theme park that, do it.
Yeah, exactly. That is so cool that they do that. And yeah, I would totally, that you get value with the Disney brand, and there's some other vacation providers out there that, maybe not so much, and it's like you're taking the time out of your schedule to go on this vacation. You have so much riding on it, and vacations, a good vacation is not cheap, although I'm sure you can get value, good value still, like you were saying, with so many of the restrictions. It seems like you don't have to take the risk that you used to in the past to book a vacation, so which is good. They recognize the situation that we're in right now. So I just got back from vacation myself, and we drove out to Arizona. It was a road trip. So we drove out and then we drove back. And I remember road trips from my childhood, and I always loved those. So I'm glad that we did that. But we have done some, airline trips and stuff, and those have been good too. So I'm looking forward to taking more vacations, but it's really cool to hear about your experiences too. Where do you see people being really resistant though? Like, what do you think? I don't know, just because of, again, the pandemic, what do you think is a huge stumbling block for people to just take that leap and make the decision to book a vacation?
It's been really interesting to watch, honestly. I think that as with everything else that's going on in the world today, people sit in two different camps, and some people are ready to go and some people are not. So I don't know what else to say. I think that as far as the pandemic goes, if things are going to hold you back, they are, and if they're not, they're not. And there's little we can do about that other than tell people how we feel and about our experiences. Outside of the pandemic, what's holding people back? I don't know, people, what's holding you back?
I was going to say, I think, one of the biggest things that I've heard from people is just unknowns. So things have changed so drastically in their life that the normal stuff that they would have known, let's say Walt Disney World, they're like, well, I just don't know how it's going to be right now. I don't know what it's going to look like. Is it worth me spending the money right now when things are not back to normal? And usually my response is, well, I don't know if there's going to be a back to normal. You could be waiting for you could be waiting for quite some time for back to normal. So, there's a lot of unknowns. I think cruising obviously is hitting a big part of that right now. That's why the three of us went on, taking my husband on. He was able, he didn't really understand either, even though I'm in it every single day looking and talking about it. Him going on was kind of, oh, wow, okay, this is how this works. Okay, this isn't so bad, but you don't know that until you're actually doing it. Right. So I think it's the unknowns. How do I board a plane? Do I have to show testing? What if I turn positive? What if this happens? And we talked before, I think a great thing right now is that not just everyone has become so flexible with cancellation at this point that I think a lot of people don't realize how flexible. So airlines, hotels, Disney, everything.
Another one of our favorite brands, Beaches, is including travel protection with all of their bookings. So, so that's lovely, So if there's a COVID situation and you can't go, you're covered, included in the price of your all-inclusive vacation, which is not common to do. So
yeah, that's great. That's good.
I think
Yeah,
also, like what
no, go
Julie
ahead.
was saying about, you have the two camps, either you're comfortable or you're not. I think that's totally true. And I also see a lot of people who come to me that even the people who are not necessarily comfortable about traveling yet, it's it's not black or white. I think a lot of people are not comfortable traveling, and a big reason for that is because they're worried about what other people will say. And I think even for me, Juliana and I, when we went on our cruise 2.5 weeks before my son's bar mitzvah, and I was panicking because I kept saying, how can I be this irresponsible? How can I take this trip 2.5 weeks before I'm supposed to get into a room with, 70 of my closest friends and family members to celebrate my son? And that was what was stressing me out the most. And honestly, I think that because we went on this trip and because we didn't just go on this cruise and sit on the beach and have a massage, although we did both of those things. We also, it's part of our job to ask all the questions. And we talked to every single cast member and guest relations person and got all of our questions and concerns answered so that we could then provide that information to our clients. And I think information is key. And the more you know, the better you are able to feel comfortable and to answer those questions or provide comebacks to people who judge you for traveling. To be able to say, look, I am working with a travel agent and this is how they're keeping me safe. This is what they're doing with testing now for this destination. This is what they're requiring for vaccinations. To be able to have those answers and to be able to feel comfortable yourself with those answers, I think then that whole psychology of not wanting to travel yet is alleviated.
Yeah, if you've done the research, and that's why it's so great to work with an expert or you guys as experts, because it's not all on you. Because again, traveling is still essential to do, but now because of our environment, that we've got these added pandemic things that we have to deal with. But you shouldn't let it stop you from taking a vacation. Work with an expert. I mean, it's kind of similar to when I'm career coaching my clients. It's like, yeah, you can be easily overwhelmed by so many things. And it's like, just take it one step at a time. Oh, we have a special guest. Yay. She's so cute. She's very cute. So, but yeah, it's like just working with an expert and having a plan. We need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then how are you going to be successful in have the vacation that you want or having the career that you want when I'm, again, working with my clients. So plan is essential. And I know the pandemic has things are constantly changing and it's always throwing something new at us, but it's harder to deal with those new unexpected things if you don't have a plan.
That is the truth. Honestly, I mean, comfortable, not comfortable, whatever. What you need is a plan, and planning travel right now is hard because of all the unknowns and all the things that change all the time. So that's right. You need a plan, and ergo, a planner, because you're too busy. You just want to go on vacation.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to bring up something. There is something to be said to, the benefits of vacation, although they're not hardcore tangible. They're, like having employees that are more engaged and getting back to what employers are trying to deal with. The labor, those statistics that I was citing earlier on our conversation, employers are having a really hard time filling job openings because the labor market is so tight. And if you have people that you want to keep, those people are getting lured away by competitors, by whoever. Or again, if they're just burnt out, maybe they just don't want to work anymore. And, just they need a break. And again, we all need a break. We all need to live our lives and continue despite, the pandemic that we're constantly having to deal with. And, the other thing, Lori, is I agree with you. I don't think things are going to go back to the way they used to be. Though we should kiss that goodbye, just leave it in the past. And we've got to move forward and, keep on moving forward, and not be stuck.
My thing is, I just don't want to be stuck in a house again. So I will, anytime we're like, should we take it? I'm like, I was stuck in a house for a long time. We are taking it. We are taking the vacation.
Seriously, you never regret taking the vacation. I mean, we were stuck in a small apartment and lockdown was happening. We had planned to do a ski vacation. They decided they were not opening ski lifts, and we went anyway to sit in a mountain house with no restaurants, nothing open. And I kept saying, like, this is not an inexpensive thing to do, just to change scenery. And it was the greatest thing we could have done, just a change of scenery, just walking in the woods in the snow, just getting away and out of the house.
Yeah. You bring up a really good point. That change of scenery. So we were all fried when the pandemic hit, because I felt like the walls were closing in on me, as I'm sure many other people did, because you're like trapped in your house with your children and then working even more hours, because it's like we didn't have those we didn't have the structure in place to take the breaks that we needed during our workday. Like everything just kind of blended together. Personal, family, work, and it's like nonstop. And then with the stress of the pandemic going on, it's like, and it was just vacations. Thank goodness they're back. Thank goodness we can take them. And it's like, yes, please, I need this. And, and just to keep that break. And as we get back into the workplace, which is a good thing, that's a positive sign. So now we're not all 100% virtual, doing only Zoom calls, or, a lot of the workforce is back on site, but you still need that break. If anything, I think that was stressful for so many women too, who, their employers are like, okay, you got to return back to the workplace. Well, what am I supposed to do with my children? I don't have the childcare that I need. And it's not just women. It's dads too, of course. So, but it's like, we need this time. We need this break. It's just so important. So my next question for the three of you is, okay, so we've been talking about this and how important vacation is. Like what's like a logical step? Like if someone is watching right now and they're like, okay, I know I haven't had a vacation in a while. What do they do? Like, do you have like a discovery call that you do with them, or what's your process? How do you work with your clients or someone who's just trying to gather information about vacations?
Yeah. So right now we are doing, we're scheduling these blueprint planning sessions with our prospective clients. You get a half hour of our time. And, I think the first place to start is, what is your budget? Where are you thinking? And a lot of people don't know the answers to those questions, and that is totally fine as well. I think it's also important to point out that working with a travel agent is totally free. We get paid by our vendors. So whether you are booking your vacation on your own and doing all of that stressful legwork on your own, or booking through a travel agent, you're paying the same price. So why would you put stress on yourself when you can work with an expert? So again, find somebody who you can trust. Hopefully it'll be us. But that's something that we're doing. You're definitely going to want to talk to your travel agent and kind of, like I said, even if you don't know a budget, you just have no idea. You just know that you need to take a vacation. That's plenty. And then, if your travel agent is an expert, that's all that they need to know as well. And then, we can have conversations and figure out the best vacation for your budget, your family, your time, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I just had a blueprint planning session today with a client, and basically we just talked through, it was all right. So what time of year do you want to travel? And there's a lot of factors to, are your kids in school? Do you have kids traveling with you? When can you take off work? If you really want it relaxing, when's the best time to take off work that you're not going to be stressed by emails coming in? And, also to do with the weather. We were talking about Walt Disney World in July. It's hot there. There's no way around that. There's no sugarcoating it. It's hot.
Can't change that.
Yeah, you can't change that. But if that's the time you want to go, then that's the time. If there's a celebration coming up, anything along those, and then usually the next step after that is budget. And that's where, we can definitely help out with, if you're giving us some sort of budget, then we're able to then narrow down things that will fit into that budget. But usually the big things, it's time and money.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's really nice to hear you say that, it's really tailored to what the person needs, because everyone is different. And then, what you're comfortable with, we were talking about how the two camps, somebody may be very cautious. They know they want to do their vacation, but they're still really cautious. And by talking with you, and talking through what they would really like to do, maybe they'll be like, hey, I could really do that. That sounds good. And I feel more comfortable with that, but they won't know unless they have the conversation with you.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then what's the best way to reach you? Like, I can attach your email addresses to this live stream, like afterwards. So is that okay?
Absolutely. info@kingdomandcruise.com. You'll get all three of us. So
Yep.
that's the best way to go. And we'll take it from there. And if you're still on the fence and you don't know, our podcast is a great place to start also. It's Mousekemoms Podcast, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And we have new content every Wednesday. So today we have a new episode airing. And just go back and look at all of our episodes. We do extensive podcasts every time we travel to tell you exactly what, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because even though, again, that's very Disney focused, but it's still a good place to start for travel in general, because we talk about what it's like flying right now, all the things, eating out in restaurants in places that are not home, Uber, all the things that are relevant no matter where you're traveling. But that's a good place to start too, is the podcast, and kind of just go look through our episodes where we're talking about our own travel to kind of get an idea of what it's like out there right now, because it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We all have scripts in the books because, again, that's how we roll.
Yeah.
That is so good to hear. And as I was mentioning before we started this call, before we went live, the poll that I did on LinkedIn, I had almost 200 people vote in it. And so there's still a lot of people, like over 54% of people do not have any vacation plans yet for 2022. And it's like, it's important to get that planned out. Number one, to make sure you have the vacation that you really want to have. And then just so it's not overwhelming, and by working with experts like you ladies, that helps immensely. So that's a really good thing.
I think now is the best time to do that too, because I know, with us, we own our business. And so we're having a lot of conversations as 2021 winds down about our goals for 2022. And, part of that conversation for anybody should be, how are we taking a break in 2022 also? When do you think we can schedule time that our family can get away and recharge? Or, my husband and I are talking about, when do you think in 2022 we can get away without the children to recharge? And those are important conversations to have, and very timely also, as we kind of say goodbye to 2021 and hello 2022 and make some goals.
Yeah. We've been having that conversation as well. We were doing that while we were on vacation. And then, and the other thing too is like, what do you really want to get out of your vacations? And that was my poll that I started yesterday on LinkedIn. And I think the biggest thing people are looking for is time to unplug with their families.
Yep.
So
the most valuable thing is time with your family, or alone, if that's how you vacation.
Yeah. Sometimes we need that too. We need that solitude.
The kids need it too, to be honest. I mean, it's been a heck of a 2 years for them as well, between like virtual school and then going for so long without seeing their friends, and wearing masks all the time now. Like, it's just as important to schedule that time for you to decompress as it is for the kids. And we're seeing more and more of that now. Of, obviously one of our big specialties is family travel, and it's important. It's important to plan it. It's for everybody involved. So
yeah, I will say couples trips definitely went up.
Yes.
My husband and I just went on a cruise, and I thought the kids would be upset. One, it was a Disney cruise, but two, my oldest one, I'm like, "Are you good? We're going to leave." And he's like, "Yeah, bye." And I was like, "All right, you're good. You're good with us leaving?" And he's like, "Yeah, grandparents are here." He's like, "We've spent enough time with you lately." So I think the kids need that too. And it was, one of the first times my husband and I too were able to just relax without work and without kids. Especially after the last 2 years of the children never leaving your side.
Yeah. And, and again, good employers want their employees to take vacation. The other aspect of it is vacation time is a valuable benefit that employers pay to their employees. And when employees don't take it, it shows up as a liability on the financial statements. So it's like I've been at employers where it's like, please, you need to take your vacation. Plus, the other thing from an operational standpoint, you can't have everyone taking it at the end of the year. That's a sheer nightmare, because then it's not going to work, So it's like, plan out your vacation so you're taking it when you want to take it. You have the vacation that you really want to take. You just get the most out of it. So yeah.
Yes.
Now.
Well, this was an awesome conversation. I mean, I learned a lot from talking with the three of you, and I'm excited too to have a conversation with you on your podcast. We'll be talking on Monday, and then I think you release the episode on Wednesdays. So it'll be next Wednesday. So, but yeah, it's just, we all have to take care of ourselves and take care of our families, and, working ourselves to the bone in the US does not work. It doesn't work at all.
No.
And I think, and the pandemic showed us how important it is to really take the time out that we need to, because if you don't take it now, you might not have it to take in the future. So
this is true. Yeah. Well, we look forward to having you continue the conversation with us next week on the show, on our podcast. So
yeah, it'll be good. And then, and I'll be sure to add the way to contact you to the videos that are it's LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. So I'll add that in the comments, and that way people can get a hold of you just to have that exploratory conversation and get information. So,
perfect.
So yeah.
Thank you.
So
yes, thank you.
Right. Thank you. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching this. And if you're watching the replay, that's totally fine too. And yeah, please take a vacation sooner rather than later.
Yes.
You'll be so much happier. So anyway. All right. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.